Well, Roy, the Memorandum of Understanding got a strong support this evening.
Yeah.
You must be very pleased with how it went.
I am, and it's been a long process. There's been a lot of discussion and debate. It certainly raised emotions, and some parts of the memorandum clearly has. But you know, just a light like tonight is a really positive thing. It's a really positive thing that there's such a strong endorsement of the changes. People have accepted them, and it's good for the organisation, and it's particularly good for the staff of the organisation, who have clearly been worried. So thankfully that worry is now put to bed.
Just how perilous were things if this hadn't been approved tonight?
Extremely.
And in terms of the staff then and what this means from a day-to-day point of view
Yeah.
over the coming days and weeks, what will it mean to the FAI?
Well, what it means to the staff is that they now have a certainty of an outcome. They don't have the cloud of whether the MOU would be passed or not, with all of the implications that that would have brought. So now they can move on and have certainty in their roles and their responsibilities, and hopefully we can all move on together now.
The FAI still has a sizable debt even with this, and is also in a position where in times of COVID, its main source of income in terms of matchday revenue is essentially gone for 2020 and possibly for 2021.
Yeah.
The challenge ahead in terms of finances, how great is it still?
It's significant, and COVID hasn't helped, and I think at a level it's probably got lost in the debate, just the impact of COVID since the lockdown in March, and just as you say, like, it's such a shame that Stephen and the team start in Bulgaria on Thursday, which I'm really looking forward to. It'll be good to talk about football now, and Finland at the weekend, and we have no people who are able to attend that. So that's a real shame, and that's going to be a real challenge for the organisation.
I understand there were several questions about your appointment and the role of Patrick Kennedy within that.
Yeah.
From Bank of Ireland.
Yeah.
When did you first speak to Patrick Kennedy about this job?
I only spoke to Patrick once, when I was approached by AMRAP, and I spoke with AMRAP. They told me that a number of people had recommended me, including Patrick. I talked to Patrick after that meeting for about 2 or 3 minutes, and that's what it was. So I think quite a lot has been made of it, and there's a bit of a conspiracy theory around it, but there's nothing untoward in my view, and certainly in terms of my dealing with Bank of Ireland or any other of the stakeholders. Did it represent any form of conflict whatsoever? No, it didn't.
Did you not think at any stage when you're having that very short conversation with him that
I had
him being the head of the main banker for a debt-ridden organisation may well be a conflict, even viewed as a conflict from the outside?
Sure, but you have to remember, when I had that conversation, I had only just been approached, and what I did, having met AMRAP the first time, was said I would think about the role, and in thinking of it, I wanted to meet a number of people, including people from the FAI, from the accountants, Grant Thornton, from the department, for the ministers, from Sport Ireland, from Mr. Horan, who did the governance reforms, to acquaint myself with all of the issues, and make a decision as to whether I thought I could help the organisation or not. So in terms of did I think that meeting in any way compromised me? Not at all, actually.
There's a lot of talk this week of a new era both on and off the pitch, but do you think this story casts something of a shadow over that the transparency that people would expect from the new FAI maybe isn't quite there?
But it's completely transparent. Like, it's completely transparent. AMRAP approached me on the basis of a number of recommendations, one of whom we now know, and it's as simple as that. It's actually quite normal way of doing business, and so I don't think it should cast a shadow. Certainly in my own mind, it doesn't cast any shadow, and I suppose that's my view.
Did you have any conversations with Patrick Kennedy during the debt renegotiation?
No.
None whatsoever?
None at all. The only time I spoke with Patrick was recently, when it was in the newspapers, that a conversation he and I would have had on AMRAP approaching me.
And in terms of the delegates tonight, do you think they were satisfied with your answers?
Listen, I certainly hope so. So like I don't have anything to hide in it. Like, it is what it is, and perhaps given the extent of the vote in favour, of all of the reforms, which probably is as high as people could have expected it or hoped for, that at the margin, this is a non-issue for them.
How quickly do you think now that you can get government funds released?